Hi, this is Robert Wilkins, aka Basketball Tall. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad that you're here with me today because I have a very special guest who's going to bring something that's going to enhance your lives. It may not be for everybody, but I'm sure there's someone out there that's going to take this to heart. My channel is about changing lives, overcoming obstacles, achieving your dreams, being happy, understanding what love really is about. And I have someone on as a guest here today who I've known for over 40 years that's going to give you some insight what it took and what obstacles he may have faced to have reached the mountaintop of his profession, and especially in the time and the day of this pandemic. I know there's a lot of people out there that are afraid, and a lot of people are also wondering what's the next step as far as sports, are concerned. And I think we have someone here that can inspire us and open our eyes and give us some insight as what his thoughts are about what's going on today and what it took to have taken him to where he is today. Good friend, Jim Wooldridge. Welcome, Coach. How are you?
Well, Robert, I'm doing very well, and it's great to see you, and it's great to be on your channel. And let me say, you mentioned that we've known each other and been friends and in the basketball business, if you would, for 40 years, and that's right. Now, we go back to Louisiana Tech.
That's correct.
I believe the year was 1978, if I can recall. And then on to East Central University in Ada, Oklahoma. And so we have a deep relationship, meaningful relationship from way back. And so it's good to reconnect on your channel and to talk a little bit about basketball and trying to help people. And that's what you're doing, and that's what coaches and athletic administrators do on a daily basis. So this is a great opportunity for me. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. And I really appreciate you being here. And speaking of Louisiana Tech, I know that, of course, you are from Putnam City. You played basketball at Putnam City High School in Oklahoma City. And then from there, you went to Louisiana Tech from 1973 to 1977, I believe. And from there, after 77, upon graduating with your bachelor's, you then became a graduate assistant. Now, when you mentioned 1978, I was thinking, was that 1977? 77, 78, you were doing some recruiting, and you just happened to stop at Murray State College in Tishomingo. Some people call it MIT, Murray in Tishomingo. And that's where I first saw you. Yeah, I remember you sitting out on the sideline, and you had your pen and your notepads, and you were taking notes, and a lot of the players was working very hard because they wanted to impress you. Now, of course, in 1978, the quarter semester, I went to Louisiana Tech for that quarter. Mm-hmm. And that's where I learned your nickname. And I guess I'm not going to say it because you're still the athletic director over at Riverside right now. And I don't want to spread that across the country, your nickname. But I'm sure Victor King and some of those other guys from Louisiana Tech, they're viewing in and they know what it is because they told me. And of course, I took that name to East Central also. But just to tell the viewers here, in 1978 to 1982, he was assistant coach at East Central Oklahoma State University in Ada, Oklahoma. In 82 to 85, he was then the assistant coach at Central Missouri State as an assistant. And then he took the head ham from 1985 to 1991. He was head coach at Central Missouri State. And in 1991 to 1994, he was the head coach at Southwest Texas State University, now called Texas State University. Then from there in 94 to 1998, he was the head coach at his alma mater, Louisiana Tech University in Ruston, Louisiana. Actually, only 29 miles from where I grew up in Monroe. Then he went to the mountaintop as an assistant coach with the Chicago Bulls. And how many of us aspire to reach the pinnacle of such magnitude of a profession? Then, but not just that, he stayed on top. He left, after leaving the Bulls, he became the head coach in Big 12 country. And of course, I'm in Big 12 country, so I have to let that be known for everybody out there. He was the head coach for 6 years, 2000 to 2006 at Kansas State University. And, you know, the thing about that, Coach, I was always tell people, hey, I know him. You know, when we were watching you on TV, I know him, everybody. Oh, yeah. But then I always had to pull out some evidence just to show it. So thank you for that. I got some good credits out of that. Okay. And then from 2007 to 2013, he became the head coach at University of California Riverside. And Coach, is that the Great Mountain West Conference?
At the Big West Conference.
The Big West Conference. Thank you for that correction.
Yeah.
And I noticed that University of Riverside has over 22,000 students enrolled there.
Yeah.
That's quite large.
It's a large university. It's in the UC system, which is one of the best educational systems in the country.
Oh, I think you say that about every school you went to, didn't you, Coach?
Absolutely.
And then, of course, you know, he became the athletic director 2013 to 2015 at the University of California Riverside. And from 2015 to present, he's the athletic college. And I understand that you've initiated your retirement, which starts, I believe, in July.
You hit it on the nail, Robert.
Thank you, Coach.
40-something years of work in athletics, and we're going to retire on June the 30th, coming up here about a month from now, and looking forward to it, and having more freedom to get back into Oklahoma and Texas, areas that we have friends like yourself and family. So it's an exciting time for us.
Well, why now? Why retire now?
Well, you know, I think we all have maybe an internal clock, you know, and I feel very good about what we've accomplished, and certainly at Riverside City College, I love the kids there, our staff, our coaches. We've had some really great things happen in the last 5 years, and I've just said, you know, my clock is that alarm is going off, and I'm ready for something else. I don't know what that something else is going to be, but I'm ready to turn the page and the chapter, and very much looking forward to it.
You know, you in 2018, when we were there in Riverside, my wife and my son, because he had moved to the Los Angeles area, and you know, I reached out to you, you know, because I wanted to make certain we had a contact in case something happened to my son.
Yeah.
And you were so willing and gracious to do that, and I really appreciate you doing that too. Thank you very much.
Well, and I understand he's doing better than we could ever have expected, Robert. I mean, you're talking about going to the top of the mountain. He's at the top of the mountain right now.
Yeah.
Marina Del Rey, is that where he's living?
Yeah, that's where he's at.
Oh, goodness. What a great place. What a great experience he's going to have.
He's driving a Tesla and just wasting money.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, it is. It is. But, Coach, you know, who inspired you on your journey to where in which you've attained so far? Who was that driving force, or that person that gave you the encouragement, the direction to set you off on the path and where you are today?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question, and it goes right to the root of my whole life. And I have to say, it was my parents. And you know, as a youngster, they gave me an opportunity to explore sports, various sports: baseball, football, basketball, track and field, and you know, by doing that, Robert, they supported me. They let me find my passion. They let me find what was interesting to me. Never got in the way of that. Never really hurried the process. Never tried to do more than what I was wanting to do. So if I wanted to play more baseball, that's great. We'll get you on a team. I'll help coach the team. I'll throw the baseball with you. We can go to the baseball field and practice fielding, whatever. Basketball, they introduced at my church, and we had a little church team. They said, "Would you like to get involved with the church team and play a little basketball, learn how to play?" And when I took that opportunity, boy, I found my passion. I found what I was most interested in, and then they supported that. So, I mean, really, Robert, without them and how they handled me and supported me and encouraged me, I don't think I would have found the path, that I was on all those many years.
What about those naysayers out there? I'm sure there has to been some folks that put you down, told you, you can't play, you can't do this. How did you overcome any, those particular obstacles?
Yeah. Well, Robert, in my time as a coach and now as an athletic administrator, I remind young people that I work with that you are going to find failure in life. You're going to find it in sports. You're going to find it in relationships that you have on teams and so forth. It's there. It's guaranteed. And you're going to find people that are going to try to hold you back, and or maybe even jealous of what you're trying to accomplish. But the point is, we all are going to fail in some way or another. But there's something inside all of us that's very special. And if you just don't give into it, and I think that is the quality that my mom and dad probably shared with me more than anything. Don't give up. Don't give in. If you'll keep that in your heart and in your mind, you'll get through failure. You'll get through situations that become very difficult. And I want to share something with you. It might not mean anything to anybody, but I was thinking about this last night in preparation to this conversation today. And my parents in 1973 drove me down to Ruston, Louisiana on a Saturday morning to drop me off to school. Now the dorms didn't open till the next day, but they let people from out of state come into the dorm a day before. And I got in there, and they drove off. I remember driving off from the dormitory there, and I thought, my goodness, what have I done? This is too difficult. I'm already, terribly homesick. I'm in foreign country here. I don't know what I'm doing. This was a bad decision. But you know what happened, Robert?
What?
That voice kicked in again. No, you're going to get through this. Just hang in there. Show some mental toughness. You've got some qualities. I don't have a lot, but you've got some. And just use those qualities to the best of your ability and make this work. And that's what happened. So, naysayers and failure, we all have it in our lives. Just don't give in to it. Everybody has something so special about them. Use that and find your way through it.
Well said, Coach. Well said. You're talking about a foundation. That's so important in all our lives. But what about those that come from homes of single parent? And you've dealt with a lot of athletes like that from all over the country. What can you say about that?
Well, I have, and I know how difficult that can be. But something about that too, the single parent that I've dealt with players, student athletes in my career. You talk about some tough people and some special people and loving people. That quality too that I talked about, not giving up, encouraging, supporting. Understand there's going to be failure. Understand there's going to be tough times. And we learn this in sports, don't we, Robert? That we do things together. And if we're good to one another, if we're supportive of one another, if we believe in one another, and it's a two-way street, then situations that are difficult like that, being a single mother and helping her son or daughter through situations, it can work, and it does work. It does work. And I would say this too about there might be people out there that are contemplating coaching. What a great profession this is in terms of, well, many things, but one is supporting those kind of situations and being someone beyond the family that can offer some mentoring and some direction that is so important for people that are of that age. So I know it's difficult, but the long and short of it, Robert, is the single mothers, the single dads that I've been involved with, you talk about some great people and supportive people, and they work as a team, and it can work. And going back to that mantra again, just don't give up.
No quit. No quit.
No quit.
You know,
Don't.
there are some books that I read throughout the years, and like, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And at times when I've even mentioned that to other people, they kind of frown thinking about trying to get rich. No, but riches is whatever your heart desire, whatever that may be, because the principles are all the same. And there's others like The Strangest Secret in the World. I listen to a lot of audio CDs such as Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, and all those guys, because the more I heard something of what someone's saying, what could be done, that gave me some hope and belief that I could do it too.
Sure. Well, again, life is short. Life should be rich in itself. When you start thinking about riches and accomplishments, none of that comes without a passion. None of that comes without working hard and things you've talked about already, about believing in yourself and having people around you that are good people that can help inspire you and motivate you to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. And again, when I say we all have something special in us, I really mean that. There's something about each of us that if you draw it out, if you draw out the very best of yourself and you find that passion, you find what you want to do in life, that's rich. That's being rich. And then everything that comes with it, the relationships that are built, the opportunities to help others as you go along your path, that's rich. And so life is more than we all want to make living. We all want to make dollars. I got that, and I believe in that too, because that helps support what you want to do in life. But you can't be rich without the things that are happening to you internally, and that's what I think we're talking about here today.
Well, Coach, I guess I'm rich because I'm feeling it. I feel good. I'm happy. Thank you for that. Another thing I need to ask you, in this time involving the pandemic that we are all engaged in, and, the sports, everything's down right now.
Yeah.
People seem to be afraid, to go in social gatherings. There's laws in place, that we all have to abide by right now. What are your thoughts about sports in general as of today's time?
Yeah. Robert, this is a very complex question and a very, very complex situation that we find ourselves in. We here at Riverside City College, we have 18 sports. We have a humongous, huge, in terms of numbers, sports department. We have a football team of 130, 40 kids. We just won a state championship, by the way, in football. So, how do we bring our kids back to campus? How do we do it, in a healthy and safe way? How do we compete in a healthy and safe way? There's really yet to be determined the answer, but we're putting some things in place that when the doors do open, that we do it in a safe and healthy way. I think there will be sports again. I think, we'll have sports this year, perhaps without fans as participants in a sporting event. I think we could modify maybe some of the seasons that were traditionally start, in August or September. That might not happen until later. again, the long and short of it, Robert, very complex. No specific answer to it right now. As you know, you're a Big 12 country. You're hearing, the coaches from Oklahoma State and Oklahoma and Texas talk about what they're doing to prepare, but really no one is given a green light to do anything up to this point other than stay away, stay healthy, and stay safe.
Oh, and that is so true. That is so true in today's time.
But Robert, real quick, there's going to be sports again. It's going to happen. We need to. You hear. I know we all want to bust out and get back to doing what we normally do, and I think we just have to be a little more patient, maybe a lot more patient in just in general. Certainly, sports is part of it, but we can't jump out there and do something that's going to jeopardize, human beings. And I do believe that we need to gradually open things up and get back to living and all that. I understand that. But I think if we'll show some resilience here, some patience, things will turn. We'll get a remedy. We'll get a vaccine at some point, and the green light again, and here we go. But patience, I think, is the number one thing right now.
Thank you. And you've heard it from someone who's been in the business for a very long time and currently an athletic director and someone that has high morals. And I believe, because I remember the last time we were together, I found your faith.
Well, I'm going to have to go back to my parents again, back in the, early 60s, mid 60s. And, I was raised in a Baptist church, and I'll sound old fogey here, but it was our childhood and our experience in our church. And I mean, Robert, we went, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday nights, all the retreats. We had a youth minister there at our church that was just unbelievable. Some of my best friends today were from that church. And I've always had a relationship with God and Jesus, and I believe in that. And it's a cornerstone, if you would, to life for me.
Amen. And I'm right there with you, Coach. I'm the same. Now, let's look at something here. Back in 2018, when my wife and son, we were with you in Riverside, and I had shared with you back in my high school days that I played, of course, at Boston High School in Monroe, Louisiana. And I had the opportunity, we were in the same district with some guys who back in 1975, they actually won the Class 4A, which was the highest class in the state at that time, state championship in basketball. And I mentioned to you that, I knew Calvin Nett back at the time, Calvin Nett, Kenny Nett, Eugene Robinson, and of course, Victor King, who also went to Louisiana Tech. But of course, Calvin Nett, Eugene, and I forgot Jamie Mayo, who's a mayor of Monroe right now. All those guys went to Northeast Louisiana University, now the University of Louisiana Monroe. And you said something to me, and I never forgot it. When I told you I played against those guys and knew those guys back then, you said, you played against pros. You played against pros. And I got to thinking about that because all those guys got drafted in the NBA. And I got to thinking about that, pro. Then I got to thinking, I'm a pro in my profession. And then people, they're all walks of life. If they've reached any degree, any level of achievement in their jobs, wherever they may be, an accountant, they may be, a lawyer, they may be a doctor, they may be a school teacher, and we're all pros. Mm-hmm. And that stuck with me, got me to thinking about that, because we usually think of pros as more in the sense of athletes and not look at ourselves as professional as well. And thank you for saying that. That made me look at things a little bit different. So, Coach, here we are in our final closing here. Any final remarks?
Well, again, I would want to say this to folks, and maybe there's some young people out there that might get a hold of this. And, where you end up is really totally up to you. And keep your faith, keep a positive attitude, work hard, work really hard, outwork the next guy or girl that you're competing against for a job or, on a sports team or so forth. And there's no substitute for it. There's really not. I want to leave you with this. My dad, I've mentioned my family several times. Sorry about that, but they were
all right.
Great people. And just as a youngster, my dad told me, he said, "Now, Jim, if you'll prove that you'll work, you'll always have a job. People need that." And I've never forgot that. And that's been, again, the cornerstone of how I've tried to live my work life. Work hard. And I owe so many things to other people. You mentioned East Central Wayne Cobb. I mean, what a special person he is. And I worked for Tim Floyd with the Bulls. There's so many folks that help me along the way. And there's people that will help others too, right? And you're one of them. So we're fortunate people, and I'm glad we've had the time to share some thoughts, and I hope some of it is meaningful to someone.
It's definitely meaningful to me, if not to anybody else. And I thank you for that. When you talked about your faith, and it reminds me where it says, faith the size of a mustard seed can move a mountain. I want to thank everyone for watching this channel. And if you like what you've heard here, the type of information that I'm putting out on this program, please hit the like button and also subscribe. And you'll be the first ones to be notified of all future content that's posted on this channel. Now, you've heard what Coach Jim Wooldridge has said. I hope that someone here take it to heart and realize, yes, we're in a pandemic, but life's not over yet. And we still have a future to come. And that's what we need to strive and look forward towards. And all you young men and girls out there, keep bouncing that ball. Keep working on your drills and all the other skill things we can do, because you can do that at home. You can do that in the street. You can do that in the backyard. It doesn't have to be on a court in the gym. And let's get ready for the future to come. Coach, I want to thank you again, and thank you for being in my life. And also, I forgot to, I don't know if I said it or not, you were also my assistant coach at East Central Oklahoma State University, which is now East Central University. And you were my advisor also, okay? And getting me in the right classes I needed to be in to take me on the journey I'm in today.
Yeah.
Anything else, Coach?
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.